Alrighty, hello everybody. Sorry about that, just had a little issue with my recording. I want to make sure that this is recorded so that you guys, if you need, can go back to it. Oops, sorry. Hey Sid, hi Gianna, all beautiful. It's been
Hello.
so long. And hi Sarah. So happy to have you guys on here. I am just going to go ahead and mute everyone for a minute. We're going to wait about 5 minutes or so, maybe not 5 minutes, about 3 minutes to see who else is going to jump on. I know there was nearly 30 people. I know a lot of people are in some different time zones and stuff, so it's a little difficult. But I want you to go ahead and post in the chat. Well, go ahead and just type yes in the chat if you can hear me. Or either like give me a nod and a thumbs up as well. I want to also make sure the chat is working because I'm going to be asking you guys some questions during the class. Awesome, Sarah. Awesome, Sydney. Cool. Awesome, guys. I want to play some music for you, but I can't get it to load, so we'll just have our own dance party. Oh, yay. Thank you. How's everyone feeling? I also want you, actually, there's only a few of us, so I would love if everyone in here writes in the chat box why you're here. It can just be really brief. Just why are you here? I want to know. I want to get to know you guys. I know most of you were in the 3-day challenge, which was incredible. Incredible. You guys did freaking phenomenal. It was so beautiful to see all of your growth. But I want to hear, yeah, why are you here? Let you guys type. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get started in just a second. Sydney, to continue growing and stepping into who I am more and more. I love that. And it's so beautiful to witness that too, babe. Seriously. So great. Gianna, what about you and Sarah? Are you guys able to type from your phone? I think you are. Also, don't mind my background. Might be some people randomly walking by. To learn how to love myself more. Beautiful, babe. Beautiful. All right. Well, while we wait for Miss Sarah to answer, are you good, Sarah? Yeah. Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If anyone just jumps on last minute, that's totally fine. And we'll just let them flow into it. But as always, what I really like to do before I jump into any workshop or lesson or teaching or webinar, masterclass, anything, is to just allow us to drop in with a little meditation. And then I'll go ahead and start introducing everything. Oh, Sarah, awesome. To build a better relationship with my body, release judgment with myself, and not care so much what people think. Hell yes, girl. I absolutely love all of that. And guys, I want you to know also that everything that you wrote is stuff that I'm still continually working on. You know, it's a day in and day out progress. You don't ever get to this point where you're like, okay, like I fully 120 million% love myself. It's all just a constant growth and a constant more acceptance of ourselves and just continuing to do the work. You know what I mean? So we'll also dive into that, a bit of acceptance and how that really starts to shift everything in here as well. So allow yourselves to get comfortable, or else I'm going to keep rambling on before I do this meditation. I want you to close down the eyes. You can put your phone down if you need. You don't need to see anything. Wherever you are, allow everything to soften. The face, the jaw, As you release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Allow the shoulders to fall. Let go of the neck, the shoulders. We soften into the upper back and the heart. Really taking a moment to soften into the heart as you feel the breath slow down, as the body slows down. Breathe into that heart space. Allow any tension, any holding on to soften and soften. Now down into the belly. Allow the belly to be soft. We spend a lot of time often sucking in or tightening our abdomen, so just let it go for a moment. Feeling grounded and supported by the earth beneath you. Feeling held by whatever it is you're sitting on. Fully connected through your root. Making sure not to lose the length in the spine as you root down. So reaching up through the crown of your head. Letting the breath flow in and out, clearing out your channels, using the breath to move energy. I want you to place one hand on your heart, and one hand on your lower belly, on your womb. We'll dive into this a little bit later, and I want you to just feel the connection of your hands on your body, on the heart, on the womb. Gently cupping your hand, gently bringing tension into the fingers, almost like you're holding your heart, you're holding your womb. You're really feeling into it the way you would desire a lover to hold you and to touch you. Being your own best lover in this moment. Taking a moment to set your intention for this class, why you're here, what you're desiring to get out of it. Letting it be the first thing that comes to your mind. Let's all collectively take a big deep breath in through the nose. Out through your mouth, let it go. 2 more. Inhale deeply, fill up. Purge it out with a sigh, make a sound. 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Whenever you're ready, start to wrap yourself in a warm embrace, giving yourself a big hug for just a moment. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Nice and slow, just opening up to the world. In 1 word, I want you to write in the chat how you feel. In 1 word. No matter what word that is. We're going to be using the chat box a lot, so make sure. Quiet, awesome, calm. Beautiful, quiet, calm, and relaxed. Yes, I love that. I love that, ladies. Awesome. And we're going to dive right into everything. And first of all, I just want to say welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so endlessly proud of you. There's so many people who are talking about their personal development journey, or talking about, wanting to make growth in their spiritual journey or their connection to themselves, but they're not actually doing anything and they're still stuck in the fear. And it's so beautiful for you to acknowledge the fact that you're really stepping into love, and you're making these choices out of love and commitment to be here for yourself, even when it might be tricky. So really important that you acknowledge that for yourself and be really truly proud of yourself, as silly as it may sound. This is something to really be proud of yourself, because I find the more we celebrate ourselves, the more proud we are of ourselves, the more abundance flows in, whether it's abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of friends, sisters, whatever it is. So really, really acknowledging yourself. And I too am acknowledging you, because I see you guys. I really, truly see you. So if everyone's ready to get started, I just want you to type yes in the chat box, so I know everyone is all good. Make sure we get rid of any distractions so that we can totally be present and focus on. Awesome, guys. Cool. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to share my screen with you. And also, really important that we make sure we stay until the end, because I'm going to be sharing with you guys, which you'll be the first 3 to hear on here live, some free things that I'm offering at the end. So super, super exciting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this will go about 45 minutes, just to give you a heads up as well. And then we'll save some time for the Q&A at the end. At least I envision it being about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And we'll open up the discussion. Okay, cool. I'm going to make this full screen, share. Awesome. Cool. Awesome, guys. So this first page is supposed to have the self-confidence photo on it that I posted on Instagram and Facebook, but I don't know why it's not showing up. So I'm going to dive right into, before I start anything, I want to share with you guys my journey with this, because I always find that when I'm learning from people or hearing or in circles and sessions, whether it's with my coach or other coaches that I've worked with or in other programs that I've invested in, I find it really powerful to be able to really connect and be like, wow, okay, because I think there's so much of the time that we put other people on pedestals. And I know I have done that in the past so much. So with so many different people, I put them on a pedestal because, they have X amount of followers, or because they've been doing this for, 10 years longer than I have, or because, maybe they don't show any like thing besides the happiness on their social media and stuff. So I think it's really important that I share this with you guys, because I know how beneficial it is for myself as well. And also throughout this, if you guys have any questions at all, just go ahead, write them in the chat box, and we'll go back to all of the questions at the end, so I don't keep going a back and forth thing. But as you can see, guys, this was, I'm going to minimize this. How do I make this myself? Hold on one second. I just want to make this like me in the corner. I don't know why. Right now it's Gianna. That's okay. Cool. So as you guys can see in this photo, what keeps happening? Sorry, guys. This is my before photo. This is the after photo. So basically this first photo was taken in 2014 when I was still in college. I was in university. At the time, I was battling eating disorders. I was going through periods of not eating and suppressing my hunger and nearly starving myself in order to be thin, and literally in order to fit into that dress. This was actually my freshman year. Yeah, wow, this isn't even 2014. That's actually 2012. This photo is actually in 2012, and I remember specifically even fitting into this dress. I was going to a frat party and I had a date, and, you know, of course I wanted to look my best and be able to wear this dress. And I was really, really harming my body. I was binge drinking, as you can see in my hand. I probably was blackout in this photo. And at the time, I remember after seeing this photo, I was like, oh, this is like the coolest photo ever. I'm going to post this on Instagram, like got so many likes. And, you know, that was the reality then. And I was really doing everything, nearly everything in my life, not for myself. I was doing it for men's attention, for my friends, for my teachers, for my peers, for my family. And I was really neglecting myself in so many ways. I was a yoga teacher at the time. I was a fitness teacher. I was a personal trainer. I was teaching classes. You know, I was healthy on the outside, but behind closed doors and on the inside, I so was not. There was so much happening. And I see that in so many people now is, you know, not opening up and letting people in to see what you're actually struggling with behind closed doors. I was having chronic sinusitis, which is like chronic congestion. I was getting sinus infections every single month. My digestion, my stomach was horrible. I was binge eating, like I said. My anxiety was crazy, and I was literally probably on antibiotics like once a month and taking all different kinds of medication, between Advil and ibuprofen to cough medicine to all of that stuff, basically wreaking havoc on my body. And through the years, I'll just go over this really quick. I graduated college. I moved to Australia, and even at that time too, I was still binge eating, and yeah, it was really, really unhealthy, and I was still living a quote unquote healthy life, but it actually was not healthy. And then it was until I did a yoga training and a meditation course that something just shifted for me. It was a week-long course where we didn't drink caffeine, we meditated every day, and we ate a vegan diet. And from that moment forward, really was the start of my journey into deepening my love for myself and realizing, wow, that whole week, I didn't binge eat once. I didn't miss anything I used to do once. I didn't have caffeine. I realized that drinking coffee and caffeine was a massive trigger to my anxiety, which you guys may or may not know or have experienced that yourself. And from that moment forward, I started meditating nearly every day and wasn't binge eating. And I'm not going to say that I didn't go back to it at all, because, you know, after that, yeah, I had a binge every once in a while, and it's a constant journey. But I just really want this to be able to show you guys that, you know, it took this long, you know, and it's not going to happen overnight. And I'm not saying it's going to take you 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. It may take one, it may take a month, you know, but it's really an ongoing journey, and really having that deep love and commitment to yourself, that no matter what you're going through, no matter what stage of your journey you're at, that's okay, that is completely okay. So basically, of course, while we're here, guys, welcome to the Build Your Self-Confidence Masterclass. These are so many questions that I get from so many of you. How do I gain self-confidence? How do I love myself? What even is self-love? You know, what do I do when someone asks me to do something and I don't want to do it? You know, how do I let go of guilt around, you know, pleasing someone else? All these questions that I get. And then we're going to go through some of that throughout here, and what I'm going to teach you guys, which is some of what I gave you all in the 3-day challenge, but we're going to go even deeper into it. So I've created kind of a series of steps. You guys will get this PDF emailed to you after the masterclass so that you can have it yourself completely free. I really want you guys to soak this in. So basically the first step in building self-confidence, from my experience, you may hear something else from someone else, you may hear something else from someone else, but I'm sharing with you my journey and what I have found the most powerful for not only myself, but for all my one-on-one clients, for the women that I've coached all over the world, for the people that I've held workshops with and worked with around the world. And like we learned in the challenge, if you were there and if you weren't there, the first step is breaking up with something that is not serving you anymore. And right now I want you to think in your head, okay, and if you've done this already, if you were part of the challenge, I want you to think of something else, because there is always, trust me, I've been doing this for ages, and there's always, always, always something that you can break up with. And it's also an opportunity for you to get creative if it's difficult to think about that. So I want you to take a moment and also write this in the chat. What is something that is not serving you right now? What is something that you may have been leeching onto and holding onto? Maybe a habit, a person, a job that's really not actually doing you any good. And really, guys, this is a beautiful opportunity to be so honest with yourself. And that's another big aspect of this journey, is continuing to be really honest with yourselves. Really honest with yourselves. As hard as it may be. Because that moment of honesty is what's going to help you guys really, truly shift. And not be alone in doing so. Having this support, just like you guys have right now within yourselves. Wonder if I can see the chat. Where'd it go? Chat? There we are. Awesome. My pessimism and habit of sabotaging happy moments. Beautiful, Sydney. I love that. And I'm sure, guys, what's so good about this right now is we have the opportunity to share, and it can spark a flame within some of you other guys to be like, oh, wow, I do that too. For me personally, something on a smaller scale that I've been breaking up with is the snooze alarm. Because our mornings are probably the most powerful time. Our mornings set the tone for your day. And if you are hitting the snooze button, you're basically telling yourself, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth this. And it starts to create a distrust within yourselves. When you say, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 a.m. and you hit snooze, hit snooze, hit snooze, your mind and your body is like, okay, well, you said you were going to do this, but you're not doing it. Why should I trust you when you say you're going to do anything else? It's like if your partner or your best friend told you she was going to come over and is constantly late. You're going to continually expecting them to be constantly late or not even show up. Gianna right now is letting go of an ex who keeps reaching out and embracing the people who are present in my life. Awesome. Hitting the snooze button. I love it. Exhausted from my nursing job and not putting myself first, not committing to my morning routine every day. Awesome, babe. So what's amazing with this is you are breaking up with not committing to your morning routine. So what you're going to do is do your morning routine. So we can also shift this to focus on not the negative. How can we turn that positive? So if you're going to get rid of your pessimism and sabotaging happy moments, what are you going to do? I think that's the really, really also powerful shift is, okay, we can say, I'm not going to hit the snooze button anymore. I am, thank you, Sarah. The 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. Hell yes. That was like literally game changer. The miracle morning and 5-second rule. I can leave that for you guys at the end as well. Any book recommendations. But with these things that we say we're breaking up with, it's like, okay, we're not going to do these things, but what are we going to do? What are we actually going to do right here and right now? So I want you to have a think about that too. If you have a journal with you, maybe you can write that down or just take notes on this. And it's something you can go back to later. So the first step in building self-confidence is breaking up with what no longer serves you. and also figuring out what does serve you. What are you going to do? Awesome, guys. So what we're going to dive into next is radical self-acceptance. This is huge. And basically what I've left for you guys here on the PDF is simply a quote, because it honestly puts everything that I want to say into words from a beautiful author. And this is another book that has absolutely changed my life. I read passages from it every night. So I'll read this to you right now. Clearly recognizing what is happening inside us and regarding what we see with an open, kind, and loving heart is what I call radical acceptance. If we are holding back from any part of our experience, if our heart shuts out any part of who we are and what we feel, we are fueling the fears and feelings of separation that sustain the trance of unworthiness. Radical acceptance directly dismantles the very foundations of this trance. I know it's a lot. We can go through this again. You guys will have this after. This is by Tara Brach, who's the author of Radical Acceptance. It's literally a book that's changed my life. And this is actually the first pillar that I teach and dive into of the group coaching program that I run, Root to Rise. And the first thing we do is we dive into radical acceptance. We dive into honoring and accepting all bits of who we are, our past and our present. So that's why I really wanted to include this for you guys, because it's like this crazy paradox where once we actually accept where we're at right now, can we change? It's like, okay, you want to change, and you do all these things and force change. But if that change is not coming from a place of love, if it's coming from a place of lack, it is not going to be sustainable. Just like if you're wanting to lose weight and you're exercising and doing all these things and extremely dieting and wanting to lose weight out of a need to change your physical appearance because you're not accepting yourself in that moment of where you're at right now, it's not going to be a sustainable change. So in gaining self-confidence, until we truly, because you can feel this energetic difference between people who are truly just embodying self-acceptance, and they're like, I don't give a fuck. I am here where I am right now in everything that I am, messy, happy, sad, crying, mascara down my face, pimples all over my face, a couple extra pounds here and there, but they exude, there's like a different energy that they exude. And maybe you can think of people in your life like that who just, maybe they might be not be stereotypical beautiful from what we see in magazines and billboards, but they just exude something else. And that is that self-confidence that stems from self-acceptance. Self-acceptance. If you guys have any questions, again, please continue to write them in the chat or even note them down in your journal. The next step that I absolutely love too, it gets us moving, it makes things more fun, is going to be to shake it up. It's been so cool to see this dance movement, this movement, this literally movement happening through Instagram, happening through the ripple effect that we've created from the challenge, as well as other people that hear this medicine. Movement truly is medicine. And I listened to a beautiful video yesterday by a dear friend who I've been coached by before. And she was basically saying that oftentimes movement is more important than meditation for women, for the female body, for the feminine energy. Because if you're looking at masculine and feminine energies having nothing to do with gender, just the energy, the masculine and feminine energy, the masculine is more, okay, strict, sit still and meditate for 20 minutes a day. You are going to do this. It's like the forcing. While the feminine, she wants to move. She wants to get things flowing through you. So that's not saying that meditation is not beneficial. I meditate every single day, and I also encourage you to do the same. But we also need, not this choreographed dance, which is beautiful as well, but we need just free movement, whether it's ugly, pretty, whether it's literally shaking our whole body out and looking like a weirdo, or sensual movement, whatever it is that you need. This movement that we start from in our womb, where I had you guys hold your hands in your womb at the beginning of this, you can even bring your hand or hands there right now, is our sensuality center. It's our creative power in the womb. That's our lower belly. And this is where things can get really blocked. And I see a lot of women who are not connected, which is exactly what happened to me in my journey, where I had also, I didn't even mention, had lost my period. I had came off birth control and lost my period for about a year, a little over a year. And literally until I started dancing and incorporating movement like this in my life, did I get my period back. And one of my friends here where I live right now, she has been struggling with the same thing, hasn't gotten her period for 8 months. 2 weeks ago, she got it for the first time. And the only thing she changed was she started more fluid dance. Literally the only thing. She connected to her womb, connected to her creative center, started incorporating movement into her life. A week later, she got her period. So it's real. It's really this energetic shifting that you can do starting in the womb center, starting in the sacral chakra. And without that movement, energy that's stuck, whether it's a conversation that we have with someone that doesn't go well, whether it's food that goes in our body that, may not be the healthiest, or a conversation, any sort of trauma that you go through, as little or as big as it may be, as, a death or an actual physical accident. Without this movement, energy will get stuck and it will get stored in the body. It's like when you put coconut oil in the fridge, or, anything in the fridge, it's going to get hard, it's stuck, it's cold. And then the second you start to shake it up, think of like coconut milk. Sometimes you get the chunky bits of it from it sitting there, and then you just shake it up and it's like fluid and everything's moving through. So this movement is so important, and it does not have to be pretty. You don't have to look good. You don't have to be, a dancer. Like, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions I hear from people. It's, oh, I can't dance, or I can't sing. You can. If you say you can't, then you can't. But if you say you can, then you can. And this was a massive part of my journey in gaining self-confidence, because it allowed me to embody every bit of me so much more, to embody the feminine nature within me, to allow myself to exude a different level of confidence when I was really feeling that energy from within me. Comment, let me know, guys, if you were in the challenge, if you love to dance. Let me know your opinions on dancing, how you've been dancing. I know a lot of people have different things from their past where, they were a girl or they were in dance, and, things like that. And it becomes a very, it's a very, very strong place that brews eating disorders. So comment yes if you're going to commit to incorporating dance in your life, nearly every day. I would love to hear that. Awesome. And the next thing, yeah, Gianna, I love dancing in my kitchen at home when I'm cooking. Hell yeah, freaking love that. It's the best place to dance, when you can just put on some music and make the whole experience so beautiful. Cool. So the next thing that we're going to incorporate in building self-confidence is speaking up. Speaking up. And this can be taken in so many different ways. Like all of this, we can do so many different things to channel this. And there is, like we were talking about our womb, there's a direct connection between our throat and our womb space. That's our feminine power. That's our creativity. That's where we not only birth life, but we birth our ideas. So if we are not connected to that center of us, if we're not connected to our womb space, these ideas that we birth in our sacral area cannot be released through our throat, because these ideas that we have, they need to be spoken, and the hair in my mouth, they need to be spoken into reality. So if we are blocked here, it's like putting a cap right here on your throat. It's like, okay, I'm brewing all these ideas in you, all these things are coming to me, my intuition, but we're just like putting this lid right here on our throat. And it's like this idea, these things, these feelings, these intuitive notions, ideas, words, conversations that we want to have get brewed in our womb. And it wants to come up. And then it's like it gets stuck, and it's like hitting this ceiling that's like, I want to be spoken. I need to be heard. And we just end up blocking it. So even when you can connect to your womb, no matter what the first step is or the second step, they both have to be open. They both have to be open channels. It's like air flowing through, a pipe or something like that, or wind blowing through. If it hits something, it's going to get blocked. So wherever we're blocked, the easiest place to release that is just through speaking up. Speaking up more at work, which I know I've seen some of you guys do before. A lot of my clients, this is one of the first places I encourage them to start speaking up. And especially when we live in such a male-dominated society, a masculine-dominated society as well in the workplace, our voice as women is often suppressed. And this is something that was not, it's like not new. This is from ages and ages and ages and ages ago. This is something from like ancient times as well. Women, if you guys, have read, about ancient times, or like witches and stuff like that, like women who were speaking up, who were using their voice, who were trying to make a stand for something or share something, were often killed. They were often cut off. So it's this trauma that's stuck within women, and that's gone from way back then, and that's just rolled through to us. And in that radical acceptance, we can also take radical responsibility in changing that pattern, in changing the path of where women are going, in changing the path of where your family is going. Then you can really connect intimately to your mother, to your grandmother, your sisters, if you have sisters, your mother, your grandmother, your aunts, your cousins, your great-grandma, great-grandma, great-grandma. And you can be the one who breaks that pattern of not speaking up. You can be the one that heals the ancestral wounds through using your voice. And it's also a really powerful way to connect back to your sexual energy. And that sexual energy is directly related to confidence, which was right back in our womb. So with this, I encourage you, and I know some of you guys have done this already, and thinking about something that you've been wanting to voice, but you haven't. It may be just something conversation you want to have with your partner or your friend, your mom, your dad, brother, your sister. It may be something that you're asking for at work, such as a raise, or it may just be actually using your voice more, especially if you're more shy or more reserved and you usually don't speak up in conversations or in meetings. Just use it a little bit more. It's all about the baby steps, because guys, one of the biggest things I see happen with women in personal development and in reaching their goals and growing is that they like I'm not saying to not reach for the stars, but they think they're going to do all these things. Okay, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, do that, do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm so overwhelmed. And then you do nothing. Have you guys felt that way before? Yeah, totally. Me too, literally. And especially when we're curious and we're passionate and stuff, it's like, oh, I want to know everything and do everything. And oh my God. And then it's like, oh, and then you just have that burnout and breakdown. So it's all about, I can't encourage you enough to just start small, to really, really start small. Really start small. Oops, where's the little thingy? There we go. Cool. And the last thing that we're going to dive into, which I find so juicy. Also, how cute is this picture? I think it's freaking adorable. It's literally like our womb and our freaking fallopian tubes and our ovaries. It's adorable. So funny that they had that. So here we're going to dive into harnessing your cycle, and I'm not going to go like deep into it because it's a lot of information. So I really just want to give you guys the most information, not even the most, the simplest information, so that you can put this stuff into practice like now, like tomorrow. Does that make sense? And especially if you're new to, you know, your relationship with your menstrual cycle, if you're new to those phases of how you're feeling, like really just, this is just a taste of it. And it's something that I go even deeper and deeper into in Root to Rise, which is beautiful. So I want to get to give you guys really like a good information base, like a solid foundation. And this is exactly where I started when I was starting my journey to getting my period back. So really, like, if you guys, I don't know if you've experienced this, but what I've seen in myself and in so many women is that we're not taught to like love our period. Do you know what I mean? Our period was usually a painful, gross, annoying, we had to like be late for school or miss school, or we felt horrible and it was disgusting, and I'm gonna like take a tampon out of my backpack and then like hide it under my arm or put it in my purse or in my pocket. I don't want anyone to see it, you know, no one can know. And it's like this thing that happens to every single woman in the world, even animals. And it's like hidden. It's like it was never talked about or taught about. And I know I was never taught about it. Literally, I was never taught about it. I was not even taught how to put in a tampon. I had to do that with my friends. And that's not to blame anyone. You're not to blame your mother or your grandmother. It's just the world and society as a whole. So the best thing that we can do in order to harness the power of our cycle, to enhance and bring more ease into every aspect of our lives and exude that self-confidence, is through just being aware of where we're at throughout our cycles. And just like the seasons, so we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Yeah? We also have, so we have those seasons outside of us, but we also have those seasons inside of us. We have internal seasons. And we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. All of these inner seasons correlate with the 4 phases of the female menstrual cycle. So you have 4 separate phases of your menstrual cycle. We're often taught, oh, you just have your period and that's it. Like, I never knew that there was other stuff going on in that time. It's just, okay, this is my period and that's it. But we actually have 4. And these are the 4. We go through our menstrual cycle, our menstrual phase, our follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. Sorry, that only has 1 L. And again, you guys will get this emailed to you, so don't stress out. And what I'm going to basically do is I'm going to explain to you guys kind of just some simple lifestyle recommendations for each phase and when each phase is. And actually we'll do this after. What we're going to do after is I'm going to have you guys figure out when your last period was. Even if you already track it, like just do it again right now because it's good to continue the pattern. So our menstrual phase is considered day 1. So the first day that we bleed is considered day 1 of your cycle. So even in your head right now, maybe you know like right away, okay, that was my last period. Just you start to think back to when your last period was, and that will be day 1. Basically, during this time, we're bleeding. Like, imagine if you had like a big cut on your arm or on your leg and you were just bleeding for days. You wouldn't be like out and about, like running around, exercising, like doing a lot of things. You'd literally be like bleeding out. You'd be losing your life force. And as women, our menstrual blood is life force energy. Literally is life force energy. And when we're losing that, we're going to be down a little bit. You know, imagine what's going to happen when your life force energy is kind of just like trickling down just a little bit for, you know, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, or 7 days, depending on what's going on in your life. So during this time, we really want to be extra gentle with yourself, no high intensity exercise. We want to be allowing ourselves more time to meditate, more time to spend alone. This is also a time where, we can be very intuitive. So we really want to take use of this time during our bleed, which we're not really encouraged. Usually it's like, okay, stick a tampon in and keep going about your day. You know what I mean? Which everyone is going to have a different lifestyle, and everyone is going to be able to do less or to do more during this time. And again, like I mentioned before, it starts with the simple things. Like if you're in an office job where you are waking up at the crack of dawn and you're at work all day, you don't have much leeway in being and taking time off or in laying down. But what can you do? Really taking that shift from not focusing on what you can't do. Oh, I can't take the day off. I can't relax. I can't lie down. But what can you actually do? What can you actually do? It's also a beautiful time to eat different red foods like beets. Even red wine, a glass, is great for that. Sweet potatoes, ginger, turmeric, different iron-rich foods as well. Flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. So that is going to be day one. That is our bleed. And just like the seasons, we go from winter, and then we start where winter is kind of like this lull. It's like everything is like dead, quote unquote. And then we start to be in spring. The flowers start to grow a little bit. You start seeing little bits of green here and there. The birds start to chirp a little bit more. You can hear the bees. It's like things are coming to life. And that's exactly what's happening in our inner spring, in our follicular phase, which is the next week or so. These days, by the way, are just general. They're not exact. It's generally that much. So think of what happens in spring. Things are coming to life. Their ideas are coming. Things are happening. Things are growing. Things are having more energy, more sunlight. And it's the same within ourselves. It's the time that during our bleed, during our menstrual cycle, any ideas that came through for us, anything that we thought about, this is the time to create that magic and birth those things into life, to start taking action on the things that you've been wanting to do. It's an amazing time to study, to learn something new, to try a new fitness class, or, to start a new project when things are starting to grow. It's like planting these seeds and they're really sprouting. It's also an amazing time to focus on eating fermented foods, which I recommend all the time. Really, really good for your gut health, but also, focusing on it now and still incorporating the flax seeds and the pumpkin seeds during this phase. So spring is really fun. I love getting into spring. I was just in spring. I'm going actually in summer right now. So you can tell my energy is super crazy. So for example, I purposely plan sharing challenges. I purposely plan sharing masterclasses and starting programs during the spring or summer phase, right after I bleed, so that I know that I have the most energy for my girls. I know that I have the most energy to give to you guys. That's just an example of what you can do with it. And now we go into summer. Summer is usually everyone's favorite season. Not everyone's, but a lot of people's favorite season. It's like this excited energy. A lot of people think they look better in summer. They're like, oh, I'm really tan. I'm prettier when I'm tan. Or, oh, I'm at the beach. I'm fitting into bathing suits, all this stuff. So this is a time in your inner cycle, when you're in your inner summer, when you're ovulating, that you're feeling extra confident. So you may notice throughout the month, your confidence kind of going up and down and on this scale. And at some point it's going to peak. And during ovulation, that's the time that we can have a baby, or till we can form a baby. So it's no coincidence that during this time we're feeling extra confident. Our skin often has a different glow. Our skin may clear up if we were struggling with any hormonal acne. It's a great time to go on a date or go on a first date because we're feeling amazing about ourselves. And it's, like I was saying, it's no coincidence. It's the one time that we can really get pregnant. So we're looking for a mate. As animals, we are it's in our blood to be looking for potential partners or mates during this time. So Your inner summer is an amazing time to try new things, to speak up and speak your truth, to have some conversations that may be extra challenging during this time. It's also an incredible time to socialize. I've crazy noticed the past few weeks in my cycle, like I went from being like not wanting to talk to anyone or do anything, and because I was aware of where I was at in my cycle, I was not forcing myself to do things that I didn't want to do. I knew that I was in this energy, and I was like, it's okay, it's going to shift. And it has shifted. So it's a great time to be with groups, go out on dates, like I said, hang out with your girlfriends, go to an event. It's also a beautiful time, just like an outer summer, to eat lots of raw, fresh foods, light greens and grains, and starting to incorporate sesame seeds and sunflower seeds, as opposed to those flax and pumpkin seeds. And the fourth phase, our last season, is going to be fall. So we're like on this uphill. Summer is our peak, and then we start to just go down a little bit, where the leaves start to change, things are starting to die down, to slow down, and this is where oftentimes we call the PMS phase, where we're premenstrual syndrome, which I actually like to call premenstrual sensitivity, because we're just extra sensitive, and that's okay. And I find that this phase is the most important, personally, to really take care of myself in, because this is a time where you can be extra angry or bitter or annoyed or on edge because you're extra sensitive. So a lot of what happened during the month and during these other seasons, like maybe such as someone doing something and you just let it slide, or like your boyfriend or girlfriend continually like saying something or doing something that you weren't really liking, but you just let it slide and let it slide. This is the period that all the stuff that you suppressed is going to shoot to the surface. So you can think to like your past cycles throughout your life. Like usually this PMS time, you're like, oh, like people either are thinking you're a bitch or you're moody or you're crying all the time. All these things that we're like told and we're put down about. But really, it's just the time when we're extra sensitive, which can be really beautiful when it's harnessed. It's a beautiful time to slow down and to just surrender to what you're feeling, to really pay attention to what we're thinking and what we're feeling, our intuition. It's a great time to meditate and spend time alone as we're getting ready to go into our bleed. It's also a time to start eating maybe some more, not necessarily heavier foods, but just more nutrient-dense foods, eating more complex carbs and leafy greens, starting to build your iron content, as well as including sesame seeds and sunflower seeds, which will really, really help these seeds to alleviate any premenstrual syndrome sensitivities you may be having. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? I know these last things. Also, I want to say welcome, Kendra. Anything from here that you have questions with, because this is the last slide. So I'm going to open up the floor to any questions. And before I even do that, so if you have questions that you've written down, if you have anything you just want to voice, like share, have you guys been tracking your cycle? Have you been aware of these things? Like, let me know, because then the other women can see and then I can see, and we can just all continue to like learn more together and bounce these ideas off of each other. I really recommend downloading an app to track your cycle. I do this like through my journal, but I also do it on an app. It's called My Flow. There's a lot, or it's called Flow. It looks like that. And it's amazing. And it'll help you track when you're ovulating. So if you have a partner, if you're sexually active, you can kind of base things around that. So easy to do. And it allows you to be aware of different patterns. So if you haven't already, I want you to right now either look in your calendar or make sure you mark down day 1 of your last bleed. And just have that written down so you have that starting point to go forward with. And yeah, any questions, anything, guys, share any comments, concerns. And what I really, really wanted to offer you guys is, like I mentioned throughout the class, I will go even deeper even deeper, if you can imagine, into all of this stuff, especially like the cycle tracking and other deeper things in an even bigger community through Root to Rise, which is an online group coaching program. It's 5 weeks long. And what I wanted to offer you guys here who committed to yourselves and showing up for the webinar or masterclass is to offer you, if you go ahead, I'm going to offer the first three people that want to book a one-on-one session with me. So you can, we can just do an introductory breakthrough call. We'll chat. You can let me know what you're going through. I can give you any information, any resources, any tools and guidance that I have. And if you decide to sign up for Root to Rise, I'm going to also offer you a free one-on-one call. So a free hour-long call already included in the program. It's 5 weeks, and the 4th week is going to be a one-on-one call. So instead of having one, you'd have 2, which is like super valuable. It's valued at $333, and I really would just love to share this with you guys because I know how committed you are. Totally just an offering for you guys. And if you get off this and you're like, fuck, I want to know a little bit, like I just want to chat to you about it. What is it about? I'll send you the website and we can just chat, like we can literally just chat about it because I know how powerful the program was for the women that went through it last round, which you can hear from. And I would just love to continue sharing that with you guys and just creating this beautiful ripple effect and change in women around the world. So please let me know. You have 48 hours to message me and let me know. So I would absolutely love to speak to any of you guys. Awesome, Sarah. I did this the other day. It was empowering, so great. I've been struggling at the moment with stopping birth control. I've been on birth control since I was 17 years old. So yeah, 12 years. I was on it for about 8. My boyfriend is nervous for me. We both don't want to have babies at this time. Would love some feedback. Awesome. This is a question I get all the time. I want to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. I'm not a gynecologist. And I'm not going to tell you to get off birth control, but I would just say I can send you through an article. Just message me after this. Anyone who wants it, also message me. I can send you an article that will kind of go deeper into the cycle tracking. It's from the woman who has the My Flow app. There's a book called Woman Code. I'm going to write it right here. Woman Code by Elisa Vitti. And I too have a boyfriend, and we don't want to have babies either, and I'm not on birth control. And I'm not going to tell you to get off birth control, but I'm sure if you haven't already, I would say really educate yourself to start on what birth control is doing to your body, and how it is actually doing more harm than good. And it's often something, I know for me, I was just given birth control because I had really bad period symptoms. And they were just like, okay, go on birth control, it'll fix it. You know what I mean? And I know that's happened for a lot of people. And so really in tracking it, I have found it is the easiest way. I don't worry at all. And of course, as always, use protection. Always use protection. And during that ovulatory phase where you are most fertile, I just avoid sex. I personally do. Some women that I know who aren't on birth control just wear a condom and make sure that they pull out even before they come to just really have no chance. There's always, I guess, some chance, but really in tracking it, it's the easiest way. And if you want, you just avoid sex during those few days, those 5 days or so, when there's that window of a chance to get pregnant. And it's awesome because on the Flow app, it will literally tell you every day, low chance to get pregnant, high chance to get pregnant, very likely to get pregnant, low chance, and it'll go down. So you know what is your peak days and what is the days kind of in that window, if that makes sense. So that would be my best advice on that. Awesome, guys. Does anyone else have any questions? Perfect timing. Wow. Literally, I haven't even looked at the clock once. My pleasure, Sarah. Awesome. Kendra, I know you hopped on here late. I'm so happy to have you on here. The recording will be sent out. So as long as you registered through the link that you'll receive the email, and I'll have your email address, and all of you guys who are on here will receive the recording as well as receive this PDF. My pleasure, Sydney. And again, when we get off this, if any other questions pop up, if you're struggling with something, you know, after this, that just like an idea that pops into your head or something you want to talk about, just message me, and we can chat about it. And again, if you're keen to just have a chat about Root to Rise, I would absolutely love to chat with you. It's my pleasure. It makes me the most excited in the world to talk to you guys about this. So just message me and we can do that as well. So for now, I just want to say I love you guys, and I'm so proud of you and so grateful for you. This has been so much fun. I've been looking forward to this all week. And I really hope that you got as much value out of it as I did. Again, I'll be emailing you the recording and the PDF so you can have it for yourself. And as always, just be really gentle with yourself. Be really gentle with yourself in this whole process. And remember that you're on a journey. The biggest piece of advice that wasn't in here I can share is to stop comparing yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to any of the other women on this call right now, your friends, any people you see on Instagram. Like, letting go of that comparison will help everything. And it'll make building your confidence in yourself so much easier. Because you're like, I'm on my own journey. I'm not going to compare myself to their journey. We're at completely different points in life. And really just making it be fun. Like, just laugh. Have a good laugh at yourself, guys. For real. I laugh at myself all the time. My boyfriend has to remind me sometimes. But awesome. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording and stop the share. Awesome, guys. I love you so much. And again, I'll chat to you soon, hopefully. Mwah. I'll unmute everyone. I don't know if I can unmute everyone. Yeah. Awesome. Bye, guys.